a former government tourism minister. According to the group Transparency International, Egypt ranks a lowly 98th in the world when it comes to tackling domestic public sector corruption. The boardrooms of the country's top companies certainly suggest that, in Egypt at least, it pays to be connected. Paul Brennan, Al Jazeera, London.
Well, a fortnight of protests in Egypt has meant many businesses have been shut for days. As one of our correspondents in Cairo reports, ordinary Egyptians are now feeling the pinch.
Minutes away from the military lockdown near Liberation Square, downtown Cairo is bustling. Banks open for the first time in a week, petrol stations stocked. But everyone here knows it's still not business as usual. Ahmad Arafa has sold newspapers at this very spot for 40 years. Like many we spoke to here, he believes in the principles and aims of this uprising, but is worried about what could happen next.
As an Egyptian, I think what happened was good or looked positive. But if it turns into chaos, that's not good, because my work will completely stop, as people will stop going out onto the street.
People outside the square are questioning whether they now have more to lose than gain.
There have been positive changes made in the country, so there's no need for people to stay in Liberation Square. I can't see how we can benefit anymore. People's businesses have stopped. There are a lot of poor Egyptians in this country who can't afford to stay home from work for more than a week.
But not everyone is so sure it's time for the protests to end. In this popular downtown bookshop, we heard mixed views.
The government has to do more, and the more they do, the more people will leave the square. No way to let them just go home. They will not go home, because I believe they have a cause, and the cause, maybe a lot of it has been accomplished, but it's not yet enough.
If it's going to have a positive impact, yes, I support this. But I'm really scared of the consequences, because we're not used to this type of revolution.
Statements by the Egyptian president and vice president have at their core a message to the people that an end to the Mubarak presidency would cause chaos in Egypt. As the protests continue, the demonstrators will have their work cut out for them if they're to keep the momentum going and stop the fear of change creeping back into Egyptian society.
On to another country with troubles. Tunisia's interior minister suspended all the country's former ruling party's activities. Offices owned by the Democratic Constitutional Rally, or RCD, have been ordered to close. At least 3 people were killed during continuing unrest over the weekend. One man died on Sunday after being hit by a tear gas canister during a protest in the town of Kabylie. And in Kef, crowds burned a police station after officers allegedly shot and killed 2 demonstrators. State media says the clashes erupted after a policeman hit a woman during a protest on Saturday. Security officials fear the unrest is being organized by allies of the deposed president, Zain al-Abidine Ben Ali, to undermine the interim government. Well, bushfires have burned down dozens of homes in Western Australia. More houses are under threat as the blaze engulfs the outskirts of Perth. Firefighters say 1,600 hectares of land was destroyed over the weekend. It's the latest in a series of disasters to hit the country after widespread floods and a powerful cyclone. A general strike in Bangladesh is paralyzing much of the country. Security forces are on a heightened state of alert. Our correspondent Nicholas Haq is in the capital, Dhaka.
10,000 police officers have been deployed across the country as the opposition party, the Bangladesh National Party, called for a general strike. And right now, they're shouting hartal, which means general strike. They want a total shutdown of the country, and this is following a night of riots. 10 buses have been burnt down, and the bomb was detonated inside Dhaka University, injuring 2 people. The opposition party are said to be unhappy about the rising food prices as well as the stock market prices falling. Now, later on today, share market brokers are said to join the protests, and the situation here is increasingly tense.
Well, the Cambodian government says heavy shelling by the Thai army has caused part of an 11th century temple to collapse. Fighting over the past 4 days has forced thousands of Thai villagers to flee the disputed border region. Hundreds of Cambodians have been evacuated. Well, our correspondent Wayne Hay has been following developments from the Thai side of the border. He joins us now on the line from there. Wayne, what's the latest with the clashes now? Have they calmed down?
They seem to have calmed down, Sammy. Early on Monday morning, we did have some more clashes taking place. These were gunfights as opposed to any artillery fire taking place. But throughout the night on Sunday evening, it really was a fierce fight that took place with many artillery shells being fired, seemingly from both sides. We didn't see the shells coming from the Cambodian side, but we saw a lot of artillery fire going from Thailand into Cambodia. When the sun rose on Monday morning, we went out to some of these border villages on the Thai side to check what sort of damage had been inflicted there by the Cambodians. And certainly the Cambodians were fighting back. This wasn't a one-sided situation by any stretch of the imagination. So we saw some buildings that had been damaged by either artillery fire or rocket-propelled grenades from the Cambodians. But so far, since that gunfight early Monday morning, things have been reasonably quiet.
We've seen this sort of exchange going on for a while now. Is there any process underway to try and resolve things politically?
There doesn't seem to be at all. There seems to be something of a stalemate at the political level. The Thai government has said that they will not contact the Cambodians. They're digging their toes in and saying that if there are talks that will take place in the hours and the days ahead, then it is up to the Cambodian government to contact them about this. The Cambodians, really, we haven't heard much from them, but other than their call for the UN Security Council to become involved in this, to come to some sort of resolution. But at the moment, it does really appear to be a stalemate. In the next few minutes, though, we are expecting to hear some sort of announcement, some sort of statement come from the government spokesman in Bangkok, the Thai capital, and the military spokesman as well. So we'll wait and see what they have to say.
All right, thanks for that one, Wayne. South Sudan is expected to become the world's newest country shortly when the final result from the secession referendum is announced. But there has been a backlash already. A mutiny by Sudanese troops refusing to leave the south has spread through several towns. Well, at least 50 people have now been killed in the past 4 days. Harun Mutasa reports from Juba in southern Sudan on the challenges ahead.
People in southern Sudan prepare to celebrate independence from the north. Final results from last month's referendum will be announced Monday, making it official the region will become the world's newest nation. Expectations from people who've lived through decades of conflict are high.
We just wish good success. Everybody should get a job opportunity.
Government is sure to reduce all the price of the commodity. That brought corruption in the country. When someone have no money, even though you have 100 pounds, you can't buy something in the market.
The comprehensive peace agreement signed in 2005 ends on the 9th of July. The South will then officially become an independent country.
People here hope independence will bring new beginnings and a more developed southern Sudan. But they also know the road ahead will not be easy.
According to the United Nations, more than half the population lives on less than $1 a day. There is high unemployment, and many don't have access to clean running water. Much of the infrastructure was destroyed during the Civil War. It's a nation starting from scratch.
The government is well aware of the difficulties that we will face as a new country. It is going to be very challenging to try to rebuild the economy that has not been existing actually. 50 years without anything in the south.
Another concern is the influx of people returning to the region, stretching already limited resources. Clashes between defectors from the Sudan People's Liberation Army and rebel groups like the Lord's Resistance Army have raised security concerns. The South needs help from the international community to address its most pressing needs. Officials also need to attract foreign direct investment. Celebrations have started, but the challenges of building a new country are enormous. Harun Mutasa, Al Jazeera, Juba, Southern Sudan.
Sudan's global diaspora voted in that referendum. Around 3,500 live in the U.S. county of San Diego in California. That's home to the country's third largest Sudanese community. Well, Rob Reynolds has been asking them about their hopes for the future.
When Matthew Riek walks the streets of San Diego, he sometimes thinks of the long journey he endured as one of South Sudan's lost boys, orphans wandering through a war-ravaged wilderness.
We walked day and night. We were afraid of being discovered by the enemy and killed.